Hello, my name is Julia Vicaretti, and today we're going to be discussing how much homework is too much homework, and in this case, less really is more. Homework is an issue that is often overlooked in our society because we're constantly pushing young people and children to work harder and harder. This has led to a drastic increase in the amount of homework that children receive, which affects their grades and their health. In fact, a study done by the American Journal of Family Therapy found that students in early elementary school years, grades 1 through 3, are getting significantly more homework than what is recommended for them. Brown University found that the average kindergartner receives about 25 minutes of homework per night, which is actually the recommended amount for a third grader. But it is important to note that more homework doesn't necessarily lead to an increase in GPA. Because homework is, especially for young kids, is often comprised of projects that will add very little to what the child is already learning in school. And a study done by Stanford University found that for most students, more than 2 hours of homework a night is counterproductive. But most students receive well more than 3 hours of homework a night, especially as they get older and into their high school years. Schools really need to learn that in the case of homework, quality matters, not so much quantity. How are kids supposed to have time to grow up and play when they're so busy doing this unnecessary homework? So not only is homework not necessarily beneficial to a child's GPA, but it can also change their attitudes about school and affect them emotionally. Children that receive homework at such a young age are introduced at a young age to things like stress, anxiety, and even physical things like sleep deprivation. And the Journal of Experimental Education found that children who spend too much time on their homework don't necessarily always meet the developmental needs for their age category and fail to gain critical life skills because they're spending so much time on their homework. They're unable to play with their families and their friends and gain those necessary interpersonal communication skills that they need to grow successfully. So how do we fix this issue? Our best bet is to look to other countries that are already doing this better than we are. When ranking the US to other countries academically, the US barely compares. Finland has been ranked as the highest education in the Western world. And people often ask, well, what are they doing that's different than what we're doing? Interestingly, they do not give their students any homework, and their students spend less time in school than American students. On average, the American student spends about 35 to 40 hours in school, equivalent to a full-time work week, whereas a Finnish student only spends about 20 hours in school, giving them so much extra time to play and have fun and explore other interests besides academics. In essence, they just have more time to be kids. And the Finnish philosophy finds that they do better by going to school less. Kids aren't supposed to be locked up in a classroom all day and then be forced to work at homework all night. With less homework, kids are allowed to have more playtime, giving them an opportunity to increase social skills, interpersonal communication skills, and most importantly, giving them an opportunity to learn through life lessons. There is no reason that American schools should be lagging behind other countries. American society does place such a strong emphasis on telling kids to work harder rather than to teaching them to be happy. With so much homework, we're telling kids that doing well in school is more important than their relationships or even their mental health. So our school systems really do need to change to solve this problem. But this can start with us. If you have any younger siblings, younger relatives, if you're a parent, encourage your students or your children to not stress about homework. Kids really do need to be kids in the future. If you become a parent or interact with children in any setting, if you're becoming a teacher, help the students out with their homework, maybe take some of the stress away from it, encourage them to stress less and play more. It's time to make a change and get America back on track to becoming a worldwide leader in education. Thank you.